As excitement builds to the September 9th kick-off, a Rugby World Cup roadshow that features the prized Webb Ellis Cup has been touring around New Zealand. We caught up with it near Wellington, where back in 1987, the All Black management had lined up quite a surprise for their team.
We had a little bit of a space of time before we got into the quarterfinals, and I believe this was the time to put them out to graze, I suppose. Give them a bit of fresh air, a change of scenery, and away from the maddening crowds. And so that was my initial idea, and we went from there.
Well, I think he just wanted us to get out of the hotels and just have a different environment. 6 weeks on the road, this was into our second or third week, and I think he thought, well, let's do something different. And we didn't know what to expect.
With the help of a locally based member of the squad, Lochore took them off to the small farming village of Pirinoa.
Andy Earl and myself basically did it. We had a friend or a couple of friends in the area. One that two that I'd played rugby with in my playing days, and we asked them if they could find. I think it was about 14 families that would host 2 All Blacks. So we made sure that they were compatible. The 2 guys that went to whatever house. I rang my friend and Andy rang his, and within 2 hours they rang back and said, "Yeah, no, we've got the numbers." And so that's how it happened.
We didn't know what to expect, staying with total strangers, and you just come on the bus. He said, "This is what we're doing." You're rooming with Albert Anderson, that's who I was, and the people of Pirinoa were there waiting. Publicans, farmers, dairy farmers, truck drivers, whatever, just families, and it was probably one of the highlights of the whole tournament.
We didn't know who we were getting until they arrived, and the bus arrived at the Pirinoa Hall and the team went down for a practice on the local field. We all gathered there, and then it was Albert Anderson and Alan Wetton who came to us, and they were 2 big fellows, and they were just delightful company. We
actually had a training run when we arrived there, and then went back to the hall, and the guys met their billets. We probably had a convivial beer with the locals, and then they shot off and had their evening meals at home. Bill
Hume was who I was with, and his wife and the 2 kids, and we had one of the kids' bedrooms, me and Albert, and we went out on the farm, a bit of feeding, and he took us around the place to show us. It was just a nice, relaxing time. Got together with the team that night for a barbecue at someone's farm. We just enjoyed it. We had a few beers at the barbie. We could just talk, and it was just really quite relaxing. No cameras, no TV, and just to chinwag with some locals. But down the track, these families can look back and say they were part of history.
Feedback was, we had just the most wonderful, home-cooked meal the night we arrived. The open air, getting out on the motorbike or the horse. Some of them went duck shooting, and they did things that they normally would not do in wherever they lived. And there wasn't a lot. There was some farmers in the team who probably had a farming background, but most of them were city guys, and it was just the fresh air, change of scenery, being away from rugby for 24 hours, that was all. They just missed one training run, and they just were fresh when they got back to Wellington.
It wasn't just about us, it was about the community, and they supported it 100%, and I dare say they probably still talk about it now.
How Pirinoa helped the All Black win in the first World Cup, and it's from Alan Wetton's book, I think, that this piece was taken. We stayed with a tremendous family. The hospitality was fantastic. We were treated like family, and all the guys had a story like that with their billets. It's very nice to hear of a reaction like that.
And the excursion had its desired effect as the All Blacks went on to claim the World Cup in front of their expectant home fans. With New Zealand facing the same challenge this year, is there anything they can learn from that 1987 experience?
One thing that's really difficult, and I think the All Blacks will find the same this year, is that it's very hard touring your own country. We'd never done it before for a long period of time, because everywhere you go, people have got friends, they've got family, and they all want a piece of you. So you don't get a lot of time on your own, you know, away where you can just totally relax. Somebody's always knocking on your door.
But if Graham Henry does look to the past for inspiration, there's one place that will always have its doors open to the All Blacks.
I don't think you could get them to do that in this changed era with professionalism. I don't think they would accept it. But Purina, I'm sure, would be prepared to welcome them if that did come about.